Lewis Ellis. This is an interesting one. Never have I ever met anyone with a tattoo of Lord Sugar's face on their bicep. But that is how far Lewis went to get his revenge on Lord Sugar for some of the things that Lord Sugar called him. This is a very interesting interview. We want to get into the arguments he's had, the public spats with Lord Sugar. We want to get into his brain because he is a fascinating, mad, weird and wonderful individual. Lewis is also a really unusual character that does a lot of strange things. For example, he traveled all the way to Qatar to track down his stolen AirPods and actually found them. He's had a lot of public feuds with Lord Sugar. Lord Sugar's been really mean to him online, and Lewis has been really mean back to Lord Sugar. If you want to know exactly how mean they were, you've got to tune in and find out. So, I'm so happy to have you on. In researching like your background, I've dug up quite a lot of things.
Yeah.
But just before we get into all of that, I can probably safely say that you're known for being very bold, very unapologetic. You made it to the final 5
Yeah.
in The Apprentice.
That's right.
You're the owner of Hussel Marketing.
Yes.
So you're doing pretty well. You're pretty entrepreneurial.
Surviving.
Yeah, you're very good at, I think, your personal branding, which I want to get into a bit more. And you're also known for quite a public spat with Lord Sugar himself.
Yeah, he's on my arm actually. I'll talk about it in a bit.
Show us. Is he on your arm actually?
He's there. I won the battle, but I lost the war. Like, it looks a lot like
It looks a lot like
creepily.
him.
So
I would be really scared to see him on my... It would give me anxiety.
at 21 years old, I was pretty lost. I didn't know what I wanted to achieve in life. Didn't know where I was going to go. Was running around. And every time I'd come home and try and get settled into some sort of career, I'd freak out and go travel. So anyway, at 21, I'd met some business owners in a ski resort, and those guys instilled the faith in me that I could potentially be an entrepreneurial sort of person. If I don't really settle into a role, and I'm always trying to create things and do things. So I would say that I'm just a guy who at 21 decided I wanted to be a business owner of some sort. And ever since then, I've been doing everything I can in my power to make it a reality. But it has to be something that I'm passionate and interested with.
Yeah. For someone tuning in, what do you think they can gain from you? What would you say there?
I think the value that I bring to the table, we can talk about marketing, but that's pretty boring, to be honest. If you want to talk about that, just hit me up. We can talk about the realizations at different points in my life and the adaptations that I've made to make things happen. You just mentioned about my friends. For example, I just cut out every single person that I know and have associated with for the last 10 years. I literally just put in the group chat, guys, it's over. We're not talking anymore.
You cut some of them out.
Because I realized that they weren't the right crowd to be around me anymore.
Stop.
So there's stuff like that we can talk about. Or I'm just, like I said, I'm just someone who's doing everything within my power to make my business a success. My business is very different, and I'm trying to maintain that. I think the value someone might take from listening to me talk, I haven't quite made it yet. I've not made millions yet, but my business has been around for 4 years. I'm in my 5th year now. It is getting more successful year on year. We're bringing in bigger clients. And you got to ask yourself, if I'm a tattooed guy who comes across and some people hate me, some people love me, then how am I getting these clients and how am I still growing? And I think there's value to be had in that story.
Do you know what I think the value is to have you on? Why I brought you on?
No one else would do it. No, I'm joking.
I think your thing is that you're pretty confident.
Yeah.
I think you've got you're confident, but you're confident in a way that you're very accepting of exactly who you are at the core. You've got quite a sensible view of yourself. And with that comes a lovely level, I think, of confidence. And I think anyone watching you could learn from that sort of confidence. It
often gets misconstrued. People like to call me arrogant when I was younger because it was a confidence without achieving anything. But now it's the mindset of people, perceptions of me is changing. They're like, oh, he said he's going to do these things and he's doing these things. Yeah. So I suppose.
I also think the other thing that they'll get from you is you're pretty entertaining. And that's
Not
what
today.
I got when I...
Today I'm tired.
No, you're entertaining still. You're pretty funny. I saw your online stuff. You're a big character. You're a big personality. You've got a big personal brand.
Are you calling me fat? Because I've been losing weight recently. So I think I just called me
talking
fat.
about your personality.
Oh, personality, sorry.
I'm talking about your personality. And it's an important thing to have a personality. Let's be honest. And you can have there's different colors of personality. There's all different wavelengths of personality. But if you have that personality that stands out, that's a big thing in life. It opens doors, fact. And I think
agree.
that people can probably learned that from you today.
Yeah, you know what? I think I've got this really heightened sense of self-awareness that I didn't have 10 years ago now. And I'm constantly assessing and critical of myself. So much so that I'll always make these minor tweaks and changes wherever possible. And I'll sit there and go, and I'm my own biggest critic. And I think a lot of people are their own biggest critic, but then they don't really change anything. So maybe there's something there around the fact that whatever you're trying to work on, wherever you're trying to go, you can work and make changes at any point in your life.
Yeah. Okay, so when I went on this, because obviously we're on The Apprentice and everything, and I wasn't The Apprentice, so it's interesting to me, these different characters, but then I look at what they've done outside of Apprentice, and I see how they've carried themselves. Are they present on social media? Aren't they? Because some definitely don't want anything to do with that whole world, fame, whatever. But yeah, I have to say, watching you on The Apprentice, and the initial sort of thought was, yes, the confidence, maybe slight arrogance, but then I saw your hair transplant video. I hope you don't mind me talking about that.
Oh, yeah.
And I actually, when I saw that, I actually thought, okay, he's not taking himself too seriously. He's not afraid to talk about his weaknesses. He's not afraid to admit he's vulnerable.
So there's a story there, actually. It's the last time I cried.
Okay, go on. What's the story?
I don't know why. I never ever cry, and it's really worrying, actually. I need a therapist, but I'm avoiding you. If you are one I'm avoiding, you just know that. I feel like I'm a tinderbox waiting to go up. Anyway, at the time, I'd scroll through social media. There's this little girl with cancer, and everyone was shaving their head off in solidarity with her to raise money and awareness. And I was just like, I was chatting away, and I was like, I'm going to shave my head tonight. And they were like, what? And I went home. I don't know why I did it. I just did it straight away.
Yeah.
Posted the video because at the time my videos were doing quite well on TikTok to try and give it more oomph. And then I was like, holy crap, my hairline's awful. And so I was talking to a guy who had a business connecting people to people in the UK, like brain surgeons who do it in their part-time and stuff. And he was like, do you want to do it? And I was like, yeah, why not? Like, why not now? I'm 30. I think I was 20. No, I was 30. So why not? Yeah, and then I was sharing the story, and I actually get loads of guys reaching out to me. Like, I'm not a vain guy. Like, I don't really give a shit. 90% of the time I'm in my pajamas, but it made me feel much more confident because I'd never had this like part here. Yeah, it was interesting. So
you didn't really notice it, and then you did that. And then it made you more self-conscious, I think.
1,000%. I was like, oh crap, that's not good. And then, and then past that point, the amount of guys, especially business owners, that reach out to me, ask me questions all the time about it.
Okay, so for people watching, because I have guys and things on my Instagram, anyone thinking about it, should they do it? Like, how scary is it? How expensive is it?
This is the thing. So I only had the corners of my hair done, the sides, because I wanted a straight hairline. So I didn't really have receding hair or anything like that. If you are thinking about it, go for it. It makes you feel better, and if you feel better, you're going to be more successful. You're going to push yourself. You're going to feel more confident walking into the room and all that sort of stuff. The amount of guys that reach out to me and they've been worried about it for years, it's crazy. And they let it really impact on that. So if girls get their done, you can get your hair done. Like, as simple as that.
I agree, and I think it's right. It doesn't mean you're vain or anything. It means you've got respect to invest in yourself, and you know that how you look does affect how you act. It does. And why not be more confident? I think guys have a hard time.
You think Jeff Bezos? You think Jeff Bezos' hair just grew back on its own? Or Elon Musk?
Elon Musk looks fabulous, by the way. I think whatever tweakments he's been doing, go for it.
Hair at 1,000.
Go for it.
Look at Jeff Bezos in 2000s, look at Elon Musk in 2000, and look at them in 2024 and tell me they've not both had their hair done. Yeah. I think, who's the other one that I noticed? Oh God, the guy off High School Musical. Zac Efron.
Yeah, Zac Efron.
His hair was fading and then it came back stronger. Yeah.
I think that's, you know what, my brother had ears that sort of stuck out like that. My mum was like, listen, and we're kids at that point. She was like, listen, you got these ears, the kids tease you and everything. Do you want to go and get it done? And he was like, yeah, sure, yeah. That made a huge difference to his life. Yeah.
I draw the line at things where, for example, I've got friends who'll just do lipo instead of going to the gym. Like, I draw the line at that because I can just go to the gym. Yeah. But like, straightening your nose, growing boobs, doing your hair, you can't do those.
Hey, you women diet, cut it, you get extensions and things. And I feel like men have a hard time if they want to do the hair transplant thing. I think absolutely, yeah. Why not? I think go for it. So you've got this confident, no-nonsense persona, and what's the dark side of you that people don't see?
I used to go out a lot and drink and party with my friends too much, but that's because it's been a part of my life since I was like 17 years old. And I reflected on this about probably in August, my birthday, I was 34, and I realized that 17 years had passed. So I started drinking when I was like 15, but like 17 years from when I could start going out. So for 17 years, I've been drinking and partying and going to all these events and going to all these influencer things after the Apprentice.
So how much are you drinking? What are you drinking?
No, not like I'm drinking every day, but I'll go on a weekend and I'll be hammered on a Friday. It's no different to how, it's just the norm where I'm from up north, I'm guessing it's the same down here, but in Manchester, everyone goes out and parties on the weekend and they get drunk and hungover and then you deal with it for 2 or 3 days. And I just thought, At 34, I was like, it's been 17 years. I'm over this. Like when I was a holiday rep, it was a big part of my life. I worked in nightclubs and bars when I was younger as well in the UK. So all the time around me, I was doing bar crawls, booze cruises, boat parties.
But you're not doing drugs at this.
Oh, no, I wasn't when I was younger. I've done drugs. Of
alcohol.
course, I've done drugs when I was older. Everyone has. But
What? No.
but most of Manchester has.
Yeah.
But I just thought to myself, I'm 34 and I'm like, I'm over this now, and I reflected on it. So I'd say probably the darkest side of me was going out and drinking too much. I really do wear my heart on my sleeve. I just am who I am. Do you know what I mean?
So how did you stop this?
Honest to God,
thing?
it was just, for me, it was a moment of realization. I was at a festival with my friends and we've been drinking all weekend, and I just thought, I'm over this. I literally woke up the next day and I said, I'm going, guys. And I left the group chat the next day. I told them all that I'm going to be doing my own thing from now on. And it's not because they're not to blame. It's just they're my friends from school from like younger, 10 years ago. And I've changed in those 10 years. And I just don't, and I don't want to put them down. They're great guys, but most of the socializing is done around alcohol and partying and going out and drinking.
Yeah, if you're in that crowd, you're going to get sucked.
But that's the crowd everyone's in.
So if you're sober there, it's weird.
Yeah, but even where I'm from, like most people are in that crowd and they just cling to friends because they're their friends. They stay with their friends from school. And I just thought, it's like when people become work friends and you go out with work friends, and then when you change jobs, they're not your friends anymore. I didn't want friends of circumstance or necessity. I'd like to choose who I want to be friends with, and I'd like to surround myself with the 5 people who I want to be like, because if I can do that, then I know that I'll become the 6th.
As a teenager and whatever, and growing up, then I would go out with my friends, and I did find that a significant number of them would, alcohol, whatever everyone was drinking, but when it came like the drug side of things, they would take that to have that extra confidence, and they would take that to have that extra energy, and especially if you're like going partying the whole night in the nightclub and everything, they would take these drugs to sustain them through. And I don't know, I feel like for me, I always thought that if I went into any of those sorts of drugs, because I'm like naturally like mad and hyperactive and all that. I just thought I would probably die. I'd probably have a heart attack really quickly. I can't even have a Red Bull. And I saw these guys drinking that, and I could party with them, but I did it naturally. I'm sure that they could also do it naturally, but I think it's a psychological thing, isn't it? It's like,
for where I live, I think it's just the norm. In Manchester especially, it's just the norm. Every single person. Like, I would go networking events, and one of the first questions people are asking is, who's getting a bag in?
Okay, I don't want my daughter going to Manchester Uni.
No, it's not that. It's just, I don't know if it's just a city. Birmingham's no different. Like, I meet business owners from Birmingham, London, and Manchester, and they're all the same. Like, half of them will be hardcore party animals who go out and do drugs. The other half maybe just don't drink, full stop, and therefore don't fall foul of that. But I think in Manchester especially, it's just a norm. Like, it's just... It's almost seen as drinking now. But again, that's a reflection that I think
it is the norm. I think,
I personally just decided I'm over that life. Like, I know it sounds silly. This is a realization that came not just overnight. I've been thinking since I started my business, I need to get my shit together because I don't have a job anymore. I can go out and party whenever I want. I'm going out on Tuesday night. But then after the first year of business, I'm like running myself out, burnt out. Second year, I'm like, I need to calm down with the drinking and partying. And by year 4, I'm going, I just can't physically do it.
You can't. You probably would have. Look what happened to Liam Payne. It just carries on, doesn't it? It just carries on. If you are getting into it fully,
I think
that's the result, isn't it?
But also, you got to remember that there's very few people that are well-known drug users that maintain the level of success. It's very few.
Right.
I can't think of many. The only one I think of is the guy off Wolf of Wall Street, and even he went to prison in the end. So I would say...
He's out now. He's doing quite well.
Yeah, ripping people off again. But I would say that if you look at the playing the odds, that's what I did when I was younger. I looked at playing the odds. I was a runaway, basically, who went traveling the world. And I thought, if I don't go university, I might not get this job. And I might lose to this other candidate that has a degree. But if I get a degree, then we're on the same level. So I've always been trying to play the odds in life. And now I'm older, I'm going, why would I put all the effort in when I'm younger to get these degrees and qualifications that I don't really care about? I just did it to get on par with everyone else and be perceived to be the same as everyone else. To then ruin it and put myself lower energy, hungover for 2 or 3 days, not wanting to work on a Monday, Tuesday. I want to work Monday, Sunday. I want to be on the games 24/7, 7 days a week. And I couldn't do that. I'll tell you what though, since I've quit drinking full stop, we're in October now, my energy's through the roof. I'm back at the gym working out constantly, and
nice.
And I can work.
Apple Watch, I can see monitoring.
Yeah, and I'm way ahead of myself in my workload. Usually I'm always behind, but now I'm ahead of everything.
Nice.
So I can't see how that's not going to benefit me.
Do you feel like some of the controversies that you've had have overshadowed your business side, or do you think it goes hand in hand with it?
No, I don't really care about anything like that. Like, I couldn't care less if you like me or hate me. I'm going to be a success regardless. My entire life, people have told me what I'm doing is wrong. So
Really?
what is the difference? I wouldn't say anything controversial. It's not like I've sacrificed a sheep on a farm. Oh, that's Warsy. It's not like I've done anything super crazy. I've not gone on a bender and Grand Theft Auto across London and stuff.
Some of the things that you've done have to be like some of the things that you've done. Probably if I did that, my parents would have a heart attack.
Yeah, that's it. My mum always has a heart. My mum's used to it.
Your mum has
though.
heart attacks, yeah.
She's used to it. But you got to remember, there's one thing that's very different, I think, about me to other people is I've always believed in just doing things and seeing what happens. And so what I mean by that is, as a kid, I would come up with an idea. I got arrested when I was 14 for stealing a dumper truck. I planned a heist. I got the whole school involved. I gave everyone walkie-talkies. I had a map. I learned how to drive using the internet. All because I found a key on the floor. So I've had this creative brain that allows me to go run away with me. And sometimes I didn't know how to harness that as a kid because obviously it was just me coming up with ideas and getting everyone to come together and rally around.
It's a fun project, but yeah, it's naughty.
But at the time, you would think, wow, he got arrested. You're not allowed to hang out with him. He's naughty.
Yeah,
but as an adult, my job is now to get creative, come up with these wild ideas and make them a reality when they don't seem to make any sense, make all the pieces fit.
Out the box.
Yeah, so I don't think there's anything really that I've done that I regret at all.
Your company is wild. It's wild in that way.
It's supposed to be because it's marketing.
Yeah, it's a nice
I've built a business around the person I am, I think. Because if I didn't, I wouldn't fit in anywhere.
You have. So you've called yourself The Apprentice's most trolled star.
Oh, the press writes shit like that.
Even by Lord Sugar, who joined in with a savage jibes online when you watched you on a task. Do you stand by that?
So first things first, if you know anything about the press, they'll just write whatever they want. So any kind of headline with anything that says I apparently said something is probably bollocks.
Do you think you were the most trolled star or not?
No, I never said that. But
you never said it?
No. Why? I don't even use the word trolled. But what I would say is I definitely got abuse for tattoos and I definitely felt really sad for a long time because that story came out of the fact, what was it? It was because I was talking about tattoos and how it impacted me. And I was like, mentally, there's an unsuccessful person who's a billionaire literally putting you down in front of millions of people. Yeah, I felt like crap, but I didn't say I was the most trolled person in the world. Do I think I was? No.
Okay, can we go back to, are you okay to go back to what he said?
Yeah, I can't remember much.
Okay, Lord Sugar wrote on Twitter at the time, publicly, in front of all his followers. So, Lewis, your tattoos are horrific. Tell me where I'm missing the point.
Yeah.
What does he look like? ?
So the story starts where we're at a lake in Finland and the water is disgusting, smells like shit. This is their filming location.
Yeah.
And none of the girls want to get in the water. The producers are telling them to put these bikinis on and get in the water. Obviously, what the producers want to do, they want to create a story and they want to make it sexy and sizzling. So they're trying to get the girls in bikinis. The girls are all throwing their toys at the pram saying, no way we're doing that. And we've been eating shit for weeks.
Dirty water.
So I was like, I'll just do it. I'll throw some shorts on, I'll get in the water. If I die, I get ill, whatever. So I'm running around on the episode in these horrible red shorts. And long story short is, I didn't want to get my body out. But I just thought I'd rather do it than they do it. Because we know millions of people are going to watch it, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I did that. And then randomly, when the episode airs, he just tweets that out.
Yeah.
I was driving at the time. I remember.
And you responded with something along the lines of, no one has the right to judge you or your body.
Yeah.
Why was that statement important to you?
Bear in mind the story I've just told. We knew at the time that it was going to be aired on TV and that millions of people watch it. And then the girls were saying, like, we don't want to be judged for our bodies and splashed across the media like this. So that was the conversation that we'd had and it was in my head. So when he tweeted that, I just thought, who are you to judge someone else's appearance? That's what I thought. Anyway, I didn't actually tweet back to him either. I just wrote it on my Twitter. I didn't even bother replying to him because I just didn't see it as worth.
But you got quite a good response.
Yeah, because why wouldn't you?
That.
Why wouldn't you? If I just went, that girl's fat on TV and I wrote it on Twitter, then what would happen? But like, people are going to go, who are you to judge that person? Yeah. So just because you're older and rich or whatever and you're from a different generation doesn't excuse you from judging someone. Okay. And I'm far from a snowflake as well.
So you did that. You stood up for yourself. Fair play.
Yeah.
Fair play to you. Brave. Okay. He came back with, Lewis, your tattoos tell a story. What are you, a Kindle?
Yeah.
You have the right to do what you want to your body. So he's acknowledging that you have a right to do what you want with your body. He says, I have the right to my opinion.
Yeah.
I say they're horrible. When you're 50 on the beach, you'll wear a T-shirt. You'll be an embarrassment to your kids. Yeah. I think that's really harsh.
Right. It's not even harsh. It's just like...
I do. I think it's harsh.
I wouldn't even say that's harsh. I would say it's just being a dickhead. Do you not agree? Because you basically said something, I've said something, and then he's doubled down on his point and gone, I'm going to continue doing this for no reason. Anyway, you can tell he doesn't write his own jokes because that wasn't funny. What are you, a Kindle? It's like, who even uses a Kindle in 2020? Also, the next part where he's saying, I have the right to an opinion. 100%. Everyone has a right to an opinion. But we don't have the right to listen. We don't have to listen. I don't have to listen to your opinion. You have the right to shout it as much as you want around your own house, but the moment you start shouting it at me, I've got a right to respond.
But why was there something else between you guys
No,
that
nothing.
he came after you in that way?
He never spoke to me the entire time.
So he's never spoken to you. He just literally went after
Yeah.
you.
The only
like
time
that.
we spoke
Wow,
was during the show when he was usually bollocking me or just talking for 2 seconds. As you will know, you don't get to communicate with him. So yeah, for me, I was pretty stunned. Mainly because the reason why I got upset at the time is because this is a guy I've looked up to a long time. So bear in mind, like when I was younger, didn't know what I wanted to do. 20, I started reading all these business books, and his was one of them, autobiography. And I felt like I connected with that story of a guy from no money building it up. But then actually, it's one of those, isn't it? Like you just don't expect that person that you think's amazing.
No, yeah. Look, if he's more conservative, he doesn't like the tattoos, that's okay. But he does need to understand the power and impact that he has. I don't know if he's playing into his own brand of being like, I'm super critical and formal and
He was just drunk.
conservative or whatever. But yeah, I think he owes you an apology.
I think he. So I think it's quite common knowledge that he drinks a lot and tweets on Twitter, and then he usually gets himself in all sorts of trouble.
And then you responded. I thought your response was the best thing you could have ever said.
Yeah.
Because you just said, "Okay, boomer."
Yeah, literally.
That made a lot of headlines.
Because it's really topical. At the time, it was pretty topical. But yeah, literally. But he's forgetting when he's writing that he's insulting thousands of people who have got tattoos who are over 50, and obviously those people have got kids, and they're like, "What the?"
Yeah, he is actually.
Yeah, and they were there. They were present
everyone
on
with a tattoo. So anyone who's watching,
Yeah. They were present on Twitter, and they joined in, and it was just wow.
I think it's harsh to go after you in that way. Nothing happened between you guys, and he just went and savaged you online.
100%. And also,
Yeah,
that then
tough.
skewed the experience for me, because up until that point, I'm like, okay, it's a bit annoying. It's a bit like a prison because you're locked in there all the time. But apart from that, it was fine. It was tiring. He was eating crap food. You didn't get to sleep, and it was hot, like stressful. But apart from that, okay, I could put up with that. But then to start getting abuse randomly online, like from someone who's supposed to be like a prominent, prolific business owner, that was a bit like, this is shit now. Why I didn't sign up for that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you think he'll apologize?
Why would he? I think he's just one of those guys that's always been that way and will never change. But you know what? Who cares?
Look, it's okay to be. He's got his personality, doesn't he? He's got his brand. That's a bit harsh or whatever. But I think like when you overstep that, then you probably should say sorry. You know,
Maybe I did.
I think you should.
You say I'm unapologetic. I've apologized to people who I've upset or offended by accident. If I've not realized I've done it, I'll personally message them and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think Lord Sugar reminds me of my dad. My dad's also quite a strict conservative guy like that, and he'll speak his mind or whatever. But like with him, I'll be like, Dad, that's hurtful. If you have feelings, you need to apologize. And I'll sulk and be stroppy until and then he'll apologize or whatever. I think sometimes you can bring them to say sorry. I think Apprentice brand, if they're watching, he should extend his heartfelt apology to you for making you feel so bad. Yeah. Not for he's allowed to his own opinion, but for doing it in the way he did it publicly.
I was going to say, I think there's one thing that makes me feel like it was a bit of a shitter on everything, is because he was almost doing that. He was almost trying to treat me like I was just someone there to be on TV. But you're forgetting, he obviously, if you'd understood, you don't know this at the time, but for the last 8 years, I've been trying to build a business. I've been trying to learn about business. I've been reading every book I can, going to every seminar I could, speaking to every business owner, interviewing them on YouTube. And then I went and started freelancing, and I was trying to build a business. So all my life I've been building towards this moment, and I thought this could be the chance to start a business. And I feel like it was almost just like he assumed that I was just some guy pretending to be on TV, when that was the least of my concerns. All I wanted to do was build.
It's like I say to anyone that I've had on the podcast that are ex-apprentice candidates, the Apprentice brand looks after the Apprentice brand and Lord Sugar's brand, and those are the priorities. And the Apprentice candidates, you're on your own, and you've got to find your way and then still come out of it and try and run a business, continue. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it really goes against you. Sometimes it helps. It varies, but they're not there to look after you.
I would say both of those brands are dead in the water. The Apprentice is on its. No one watches it.
It's become a bit boring now.
It's not even boring. It's just crap. Have you tried watching it? It's actually crap. And then on top of that, Lord Sugar's brand he's just some angry guy. That's his brand now. That's his legacy. I think respect for everything is achieved, but just because you achieve something doesn't mean you have to become a dick.
Yeah. OnlyFans. So after your spat with Lord Sugar, you went on OnlyFans.
Yeah, as a link onto the story of the no one has a right to judge your body. I thought it was funny.
Okay.
Actually, what came first was the tattoo.
Okay, wait. Okay, so after spat, tattoo came first. Yeah. Was that revenge to him?
No, it was. Think about this, right? I've got a marketing agency and I do PR stunts and publicity stunts, right? So what can I do if I've got a guy give me tattoo? or get a face picture of his. And to be fair, my actual tattoos are like bits of them are all things that have
How do you
happened.
think he feels that he's inked into your skin? His
really-
image is inked into
I don't
your
think
skin
he
because
thought-
of what he's.
I don't think he thought twice.
Why don't you take a photo of the tattoo and send it to him?
Oh, he'll
and
have seen
ask
it.
him when he'll apologize.
I think that's 5.
No, but
I'm thinking like if you live in the past, then you'll never.
no, but it's a product that's on your skin. It's
Yeah,
here
but who
today.
cares?
We're
It's
talking
all
about
of these things are different things that have happened to me.
I would
So
send
it's just
it to him
another
and say,
thing.
do you like it? What do you think?
I would assume that he's seen it. But then the OnlyFans thing came
Might be
next where
fun.
I was just like, what else can I do to get some attention here?
Wow. Okay, yeah, so you did that. That's another.
Yeah, man.
Okay. So as a business guy, because you just said it yourself, and then you went on OnlyFans, like how did you connect the two and take that risk? Like how did you go, I'm a business guy, I'm going to do OnlyFans. Like what in your mind took you to the two and why did you think it was going to work and did it work?
Yeah, of course, with the PR stunts. So I'm looking for opportunities to go, how can I grab attention and bring it over to what I'm doing? So Lord Sugar wants to talk about The Apprentice. The Apprentice wants to talk about The Apprentice. I want to talk about what I'm doing now. So I want to keep dragging people back to us and to what I'm doing. And that's never changed. So
it's quite good.
In my head, right, at this time, so what was I was 28 when I was on The Apprentice, so this played when I was 29.
Yeah.
COVID was hitting and my job had just been taken away from me and I had no way of surviving. Literally no way. No one was hiring people. I couldn't get furlough. So a lot of people in the same situation, I mean, millions fell through this crack where if you just changed jobs recently, you couldn't get furlough. So I was eligible for whatever the job seekers thing is called now, or go and work in a supermarket. So I was thinking, I've got no money in the bank, so I might as well try. I might as well try and start a business. At the time, everyone was setting up OnlyFans accounts, so I thought I'll do that. And actually, funnily enough, loads of people came through, and that actually allowed me to start my business. Survive and so I could start my business and drags people through to what is he doing now. And the same thing with the tattoo stunt. It was to bring people across from this story about negative tattoos to we do a PR stunt, because in my head I was thinking I'm going to build a marketing agency. In the future I want to do PR stunts, I want to do experiential things, I want to grab attention in the most weird and wonderful ways. So I was trying to start doing things like that because I thought I'd use them in my portfolio, but to be honest I've not had to.
So how long were you on there for? How long?
Oh, like only a couple months, literally.
Okay.
And then I just closed the account.
How was it?
No, people, OnlyFans, by the way, doesn't mean you have to get your dick out and wave it around. People are just on there just sharing normal clothes shots, but the perception of the name OnlyFans was why I did it. Because everyone's naked on there, right?
Okay, yeah, so you didn't, and then you got tired of it or what?
No, I didn't need
Just
it.
didn't need it.
I just did it, set it up, and then let it drop off and then moved on. But all my life, I'm looking for things like this all the time.
That is controversial. That's why I said so you do controversial things.
Yeah, but I'm trying to get attention. I'm trying to grab attention. My job, for a living, my job is to grab attention and harness that and project it somewhere. Now that might be increasing views, increasing sales. It might be in people getting job applicants, whatever it is. I have to grab attention in a very noisy world and power it through. And so that's what I do. That's what I was doing. And that's what I continue to do. Yeah. So it could be anything. It could be, for example, there was another company that a friend of mine was doing a campaign on. They were working with a client who did sex toys and they were advertising a job for a sex toy tester. And that was the PR campaign. And they asked me to front it, so I'm there with a dildo on Instagram. Who wants to be a sex toy tester? And you use that to your advantage. But these campaigns happen all the time. Unfortunately, the press like to write about negative and sex, so that's what you go down the lines of.
I think your brand is bold in that way, and it is like that. And you've got the tattoos, and I think it fits that sort of thing. You can get away with it.
People are getting wise to the fact that if I'm doing something, like obviously if you just met me in 20, when I was 28, 29 on The Apprentice, if you just heard of me, then it's all new. But if you'd heard of me prior to that, you would know that I've consistently been doing these things. Yeah. So none of it's different.
Listen, I'm from that world. I get it. I understand PR, comms, marketing. So I understand how
literally.
It's smart. You have had attention.
Yeah.
So
a couple of years prior to that, the BBC were reporting that I got lost in Syria. A couple of years before that, I was in the press for swimming in a shopping mall.
Yeah.
But these are things that I was like, oh, there's something in this.
Yes.
You can do something. You can grab the attention. You can push it somewhere you want it to go. And that's all a marketer does. So I can't see how that's any different to what I wanted to do for a career.
Well, you're using your own brand to do. You're risking your brand or not risking. I don't know. You're using yourself.
Yeah,
to put in these, it is a risk for some of the things, but
I don't think so. There's nothing that's going to ever affect, like, unless I do something illegal,
Yeah.
And even then, think of the people that do things that are illegal and then they still come back. You said Wolf of Wall Street guy before, you said it yourself. He's doing quite well for himself. He's only doing quite well for himself because he committed such major fraud that he had a movie made about him, and then he harnessed that attention. And now you believe him.
He's an excellent salesman.
But now you believe him to be a good person, but he's not. He's still millions of people.
I don't believe him to be a good person.
But people will still buy from him.
I watched his wife's podcast. It was really interesting to have her point of view. He's a very difficult man, but what he can do is sell. At the end of the day, all this stuff is sales, isn't it? It's sales.
I think
good at it or you're not good.
I think some people like to be controversial and negative and be infamous. Some people try and use PR firms will try and use controversy to get headlines for their clients. For me, I just do it for fun.
Yeah, I think you're having fun. So another thing that you've said, you've publicly blasted the BBC's The Apprentice, claiming you were set up to look like a deep beep head. Were you actually set up?
Yeah, so I will actually genuinely, it's been years now, I don't think the contract's still relevant, but I will genuinely say that we were made to look like idiots, I'll say, instead of swearing. So at one point it became, look, so we know we signed up for this show where you get to look stupid, right? We're more than happy with that. If you make a mistake, call us out, make us look stupid, that's fine. What we didn't like was we were noticing that they were purposely trying to make things happen, moving stuff, causing issues,
sabotaging.
Yes. So the producers were getting the runners to purposefully get in the way of things or sabotage things, or it became most apparent when we were on a train where both teams were on the train together. So really, you could walk from one end to talk to the other end if you really wanted to, but you weren't allowed to communicate, and then they were causing delays and problems. And I lost my rag that day, and I remember Claude literally pulling me to the side saying, if you lose your shit again at the production crew, Lord Sugar will go mad. So don't do that again. Because I was like, what the is going on here? Like, why? And the problem, that's not a problem either. If you're sabotaging it, fine. The biggest problem for me was that you are gaslit to believe that what you believe is wrong. And they keep telling you that you're imagining it. That's not happening. Do you know what I mean? And then because you're locked in this space, that starts really playing tricks on you.
It messes with your head.
Yeah, as a group, we came together and we sat. I remember we sat there, whoever the production person was at the time, and we were just like, "This is ridiculous. It's got to stop." We are happy to play a game show. We're happy to look like idiots. We're not happy to be sabotaged, because you got to remember, like at the time I was starting a business, it was fine. But if, for example, I was a successful marketing business owner at that point already, and I've got clients on the outside, and I'm taking part in the show, and then they sabotage you, they can lose you real life clients. They could really affect your reputation. Yeah. And that's not, in my head, that's not okay.
Totally. When I raised these concerns, I used to call them over, and I used to give me the camera, piece of camera, and I used to talk directly to the
people behind.
Yeah. And I said to them, stop it. You've done this, you've done this, you've done this, you've done this, you've done this. In your documents, this, you stop it. And if you put that scene in, I'm going to walk. And if you do that, I'm going to come after you.
Yeah.
And it was always like that. And then once I got out of that, obviously I walked. I was like, I'm not taking this stuff. And I had a lot going on at the time. Okay. The comeback was that I'm too analytical. Oh, you're very analytical, Tiff. Yeah. Because they know that my background was in billing systems implementation and analyzing things. So, you're very analytical. But yeah, gaslit. Interesting.
I think
interesting term.
I remember saying at the time is that you've got a room full of people who run their own businesses or want to run their own businesses. Most of us, some of them are just for the ride to be famous, I imagine, but they were definitely trying to do that.
Oh yeah. Sure.
But the majority of the people in the room, I said, they're business owners. You're trying to make them look like. You're trying to pull the wool over their eyes and gaslight them. It's not going to go down. It's not going to go down well, is it?
I suppose once you get in there, sorry for interrupting, you realize that you're up against, it's not fair anymore. And you're trying to just maintain that reputation as best you can. Because it's then that you realize, wow, I'm being set up in a way.
I think I enjoyed it at first. It was like, I think it was like an escape room. I enjoy challenges. I enjoy puzzles and stuff like that. I just didn't enjoy if you go into a casino and then they say, oh, you have to use this, I don't know, I'll give you an example, like this specific deck of cards, and you're not allowed to play with anyone else around you apart from these people, and you've got to wear these glasses, and you go, this isn't fair. I want to just play the game, and I just wanted to play the game. I understand they're making a TV show, but then there's a level between, okay, naturally letting things happen and then trying to cause things to happen. Waste our time, puts us all down, makes.
But it makes great TV, because when you're sitting there watching, you love to watch people fail and be really dumb, and you go,
but that says a lot more about society than it does about the show. By the way, if anyone out there is listening or anything, if you ever want to really prove a point, if you want to see if I'm right, doesn't matter what you do for a living, let me come and follow you with a camera for a day, just for a few hours, even like 5 hours. I'll film them, and then I'll edit it, and I'll make you look like you are an absolute simpleton. Tot. It's very easy.
Oh, it is actually very
So
easy.
easy.
You realize the power of editing. You also said that it's like being in a prison. Did you find you were like trapped in a prison there?
Yeah, I said it before, but yeah, no, 100%. So you're not allowed to leave the house on your own. You want a haircut, you got to book it in, and you get to go in a week. And
Okay.
you want to go for food or snacks, you can't.
But then how did you have a fling? And
Oh, that was whilst we were abroad. So
so you were out of the apprentice, but you're still on the show.
yeah. I just
So they didn't follow you around anymore because we weren't allowed
of course
to do
they
anything.
did. They locked us in our rooms. I'm from this sort of background of if you tell me I'm not allowed to do something or try and lock me in, I'm going to probably try and break out. So naturally, I'm on the show. They locked me in my hotel room in South Africa, and I'm going, no, in Finland it was actually. Both times I got locked in. And I just went, this, and I like latched the door open and pegged it so you open and close it, and then crawl down the corridor past the producers, and then I just went out for the day.
Stop.
Yeah, I will not do what you tell me to do. And I know it's very childish, but that's kind of part of what I'm about, I think. So yeah.
Controversial. How do you like being a business owner now?
I don't like it. I think it's the hardest thing I've ever done. I think
Hard, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I always thought being a business owner was about creating a product and selling creating a product or service and selling it. That's part of it. But actually, once you do sell it, it's managing relationships, it's maintaining yourself, keeping yourself on the ball, time, project. My job's majority is project management. And then in there, trying to find room to be creative for the clients because we're bringing the creativity to the table. Yeah. It's a whole. So in the first couple of years, first year was a culture shock, massive to me because I'd already had freelance experience and I've been working for a long time. So I just thought I'd know what I was doing. But massive culture shock on managing relationships. You can't tell people to go themselves when you definitely can't shout at them down the phone. I found that out as well. Yeah. Second year was realizing that my time was I was hitting capacity, and that's so I have to manage my time now to be able to grow. And then now in year 3 and into year 4, the focus has been on growing the brand how I want to grow it, the service how I want to grow it, what I offer as a specialism, and make it really unique it's very different to what anyone else offers out there. And I've been working really hard on that. And then on top of that, I'm managing to pull things together, not be scared. That a lot of things like I'm finding it really exciting because every year I learn something new. At the moment, it's all about making things happen. Like, for example, we flew a drone carrying cocktails to people's houses the other day, and I was like, can you legally carry cocktails by drone? Who do I need? Do I need a pilot? Do I need to ask the police, the council? How can I take off? Where can I land? And all these questions. So all the time I'm problem solving and trying to figure things out, and that really lends itself to me as a person. Are you making money? Yeah, I have been. I've not been. There's literally been no other way because don't forget I lost my job in 2020. So if I wasn't making money, I wouldn't be able to continue living.
Yeah, it's hard because at the end of the day, no matter what business you're doing, you're asking someone else to give you money. And then you're responsible for that thing.
Yeah. I've been able to support myself for the last 4 years pretty comfortably. That's not what I want to do though. This isn't for me, this is not a hobby. This is not a side hustle.
What do you want to do?
I want to grow it massively. And to be honest, the sad thing is everyone that I've come across, not everyone, but most people that I've come across that seem to be doing very well in that my space have an early stage investor, a rich mum and dad, partner who gave them cash, or a massive credit card. Like I've not had any of that. I started during COVID. No one wanted to buy marketing. I had to pay the bills regardless, and I've managed to do that since day one. Now I'm at a point where I'm like, actually, we've got this great track record, we've got this great portfolio. We're speaking to these big national brands and international brands now, which them conversations weren't happening a year ago. I think we're at a tipping point where actually, organically, I'm able to start hiring staff very soon. And I'd love to have investors in and just overnight grow it, doing all these crazy campaigns, but that's just not the reality for most people. So I have to organically grow it.
I would say that's personally irrelevant to you because I think everyone's situation is what other people are doing and how they got there. Maybe they did have that, maybe they didn't. It's completely irrelevant. What I would say is actually extremely relevant is which country you're starting a business in, what time you're starting, so whether it's COVID or 10 years ago, 15 years ago, if you started, it's completely different to now because the landscape's changed, the competition's changed, the types of things that you put there, the skills that are needed. It's like now, starting a business now, it's harder, I think, than
I've been reading a lot about,
especially in the UK.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've been reading a lot about the new UK laws and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the moment I feel like my business isn't welcome in the UK, I'm just going to take it elsewhere. And I know that pretty much every other person that I know with a business is looking at leaving the UK.
It's the taxes, isn't it? It's the taxes, and it doesn't feel very entrepreneurial. When you go like to the UAE, you visit, there's like a sizzle in there. You almost feel it. You can almost smell the money. You go there, like you feel energized, and you go to the States. Then you come here and it's a bit like,
Yeah,
and
the
everyone's
UK.
sort of beaten with a stick. And
Everything
like,
is against you in the
stuff.
UK.
They're going to tax water. They're going to tax everything. Tax.
At the moment, I see it's not. It's like almost an attack on the population. Like I see speed camera vans every other road
you
now.
know why? They've got people running the country that aren't entrepreneurs. They have literally no clue what it takes.
I personally won't be living in the UK forever. I think I'm lucky to be born here.
I love the UK though. Disclaimer. I love the UK.
I couldn't give a about
I just want to protect it.
I think, look, it's been ruined through a myriad of ways over the last few years, and I think it's been one clusterfuck to the next.
Yeah.
That wasn't a swear word, that's an adjective.
Okay.
Clusterfuck. However, I will say I'm lucky to be born here. That in itself is more privileged than what 99% of the population, the world's population, isn't it? Something like that. So I'm born in a culture where I can grow a business. I do have a house. I can buy food. So that in itself gives me. Well, I'm a white straight male. I'm not white, by the way, but I always say I am.
What is your?
I'm half Asian.
Oh, you really?
Yeah, no one knows that though. Now they do.
No, tell us.
I only ever use it on loan applications because
that's
diversity.
Awesome. So, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, my dad was Asian. But yeah, I don't really talk about that. But the point is, I'm already lucky compared to most people in the world. So that's great. And I can't bite the hand that feeds you. But at the same time, the UK has no support. No, I've tried every single program I can think of in my areas for business support, business growth. The only thing I did get ages ago was a small loan, and that just about covered the bills to survive. And to be honest, I'm over it. I know a lad in Saudi Arabia who started a cybersecurity company and got given a massive unit to work from. His boardroom was bigger than I've ever seen, and a huge amount of startup capital.
Yeah, there does need to be the right landscape. A place where the taxes are nice and low, where you're encouraged to take on employees, because now they make it more difficult for you to want to take on a full-time employee because you get punished if you let them go. And I'm sorry, firing is a real necessity. Like sometimes you've got to fire people because they just don't fit. And if you keep them on forever, it's just baggage that's going to drag that business down. The job of every business is to make money, full stop. That is, doesn't matter what you're doing, you need to make money. And if you've got all this baggage and all these people that are just dragging you down and it's very difficult to fire them, that just changes everything. But in terms of your experience in business so far, like what's the biggest mistake you've made?
I think it would be not taking it as serious as I could have. And like I've already alluded to it right at the beginning of the conversation, for the first year, I just treated it like I was free of a job, when actually I should have been the other way around. I should have been working. I was working twice as hard, don't get me wrong, but then going out and partying with your friends on a Tuesday and being hung. There's a lot of traps to fall into. Okay, the traps that I found were networking. You go to networking things because you believe that might be a way of getting leads.
Yeah.
However, a lot of people go to networking as a way of escaping the realities of their harsh business, the harsh realities of business. So they want to get drunk. They want to get up for an entire 2 days. And there's a lot of alcohol involved. There's a lot of partying involved in the business world, especially media.
Yeah.
And that in itself is a trap because you believe you're networking, so it's not bad. But actually, getting drunk on a Tuesday and being hungover till Thursday is pretty bad for business. So there's the realization of, I need to, that now I'm taking life a lot more seriously. I also think the biggest mistake I made in year one was letting everything, like all my things fade away, like my things. So what I mean by that is, like my hobbies, the things I want to learn, the skills. Business is a massive part of your life, and you do feel like you live it every minute of every day because it's no longer a job. But I now purposely make time to learn something new every 6 months to a year, and I challenge myself to the most ridiculous things.
What are your hobbies? And what
right
are the
now,
ridiculous things that you? Yeah.
Okay, I'm 4 years in playing guitar, and I'm all right now. I learned to ice skate and started playing ice hockey. I got my own boots. I ski and ride motorcycles, but that was before I started business. Oh, I'm learning German. I have a tutor every Sunday. I'm learning to fly planes.
Seriously?
Yeah, man. I'm halfway through my pilot's license, and you got a lot of exams. I've got only 2 exams left, and I've got to do another 20 hours though.
Have you always been this quite hectic and
It's not hectic. I want to live every moment of life. Wow. I wanted to. Thai boxing. I started Thai boxing as well recently. For me, there's so many things that I want to do, and the business is a big part of that. That's one of my biggest goals, but it's not the be all and end all. Yeah, that allows other things to happen. But in the first year, I was so focused on that was my dream and my goal and my ambition that I forgot all these side things. I can do them now.
So to anyone thinking of going on reality TV, would you encourage them to enter that world or be wary or what?
I don't know anymore. When I was younger, it was like one of my bucket list things. It was go to the gym, get big, and then go on a reality show one day, start a business. These were the things I was ticking off. For me, it was a bucket list thing. I think it's a great way to make great people. You just got to remember that no matter what you do, no matter what show you go on, you're not going to get really to show your story. You just got to have fun with it, I guess. If I was going to do another one, I'd want to make sure it's something that is just fun, even if I'm being made to look at or even if it's being edited so I look incompetent, whatever. As long as I'm having fun because it's an experience that I wanted to do, then yeah. If it's an experience that you want to do because you're trying to be famous or you want to be known for something, you got to remember that's outside of your control.
For me, with the whole reality TV thing, I would say that you've got to be very careful who you give your brand to. Because like you're saying, the editing can make anyone look bad. And I've learned that I am not it's such a trust. It's such a, two brands collaborating, even out there in the business world, you know how it is. And you are a brand and you're collaborating with another brand. And I would really check the T's and C's. I'd be more careful and preferably not give my brand to anyone ever again and own my own content.
There is one thing I would do.
What?
I would do Dragon's Den. 1,000%. I've got this product idea. It's been pissing me off for ages. And the thing is, here's another annoying thing. It's trying to stay focused on one thing and not let yourself get distracted.
Yes.
But I've got this business idea. It's been burning in my head for ages. And I'm trying not to do it because I want to focus on growing this business first and then do that. But I'd do Dragon's Den. Because no matter how much you edit it, like you can make it like you fail, you make it like you succeeded, whatever. That is a great opportunity to show something that you've created. And I love that. Whereas The Apprentice, you don't get that same thing, right?
No.
You don't get to talk about your real business, to give your real name. You get to say what you do. The only way people find out what you do is if it comes to your social media.
Yeah.
Because the rest of the time you're being made to look at.
Yeah, true. The other reality show you did was The Great Sex Experiment. I have to be honest, I've never heard of that. So what is that? Cheesy. I've never watched it. I've never heard of what is it?
That was a show where at the time they were like, oh, we're doing a dating show. I was annoyed. It was summer. I was just really wound up about business and I went and joined on. At the time it was called something else, like random, and then it became that, which is an awful name.
Yeah.
I didn't really do anything interesting, to be honest. I just partied with all the guys that were there as a cast. It was during COVID as well, so you couldn't really meet anyone, so nothing else to do.
Yep.
Yeah, my story's not very interesting. I got drunk, I snogged an old woman.
It made it to the papers, it gave you press, it
was more just, again,
controversial.
Sometimes things don't need to have a reason. Like, I just went, I'm not doing anything. Like, why not? What's the worst that can happen?
I like in your life, you are, like I said in the beginning, you are really not, you're unashamed to be yourself. You are happy to take on these risks. They're not risks to you, but to do all these wild things and it fits your brand. Yeah. And I think you've definitely got something there with that brand of yours, I feel.
I think, this is the thing is some people try to build a brand and some people try to build their personal brand around what they want to be perceived as. Some people try and build a brand around what they want to perceive to be. I have to build a brand and a business around who I am, because if I don't, you're either going to really like me or you're really not going to like me. I don't care either way, because no matter what happens, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing and I'm happy doing that. But if I didn't build my brand around who I am, then if I got a business and I decide, I know I'm going to put myself naked on a billboard. That was one of the things we did as well. Put myself naked on a billboard. God. If my brand wasn't me, then that would have kickback. There'd be consequences. I might lose clients.
Yeah.
But because my clients know that's who I am, I could literally streak through. I could go to an award ceremony and pick up an award with my hanging out.
No, you couldn't.
I definitely could. We'd probably get arrested. But the point, I could do that, but my clients wouldn't leave because they know that I'll be doing it for some sort of marketing purpose. And I think that's a power in itself.
No, I get it.
But I understand why a lot of people don't like that.
Yeah, but listen, it's music artists, and you've got like the Taylor Swifts, and then you've got the Amy Winehouses, and you've got the Elton Johns. These are such different brands, and they are all successful in their own way, and they appeal to their market and marketing. And you've definitely got a wide section. Everyone with tattoos. That's like your market maybe in a way, I think.
Actually, there are rappers who are literal murderers who are famous and have a huge fan base, even though they've been proven guilty of murdering someone.
Yeah.
So
going down.
But if you can murder someone and be successful and have your brand that way, and you've murdered someone, I'm pretty sure me doing silly little things whenever I find it funny isn't that bad.
Yeah, we don't want to encourage.
No.
We don't want to encourage.
But if you come at me, I'm going to murder. No, I'm joking.
No, but ditties and things like that.
Yeah. The more that you are yourself, the more pushback you'll notice, because more people are hearing about you. And unfortunately, as you grow and you come through that, a lot of time, all you hear is the negative, but actually there's a lot of positive in there. And a lot of time for me, I find that I get people approach me and say, oh, I saw this happen. And it's almost like you give them the ability to say, I can be myself. I'm just sick of fake. I don't have a telephone voice. You ring me, I'll go, hey, because the telephone voice to me is fake. I don't want any fake, any falsehoods. I've got a group chat with all the people that I've met in business that come to my events. And if they try and post a link to their social media, I'll delete it because I don't want to have this fake facade of, oh, let's like each other's shit, because it's not fake. I'm a real person. It's a real connection. I won't come to your house and go, hey, will you like my LinkedIn post? For me, I'm just done with the fake. Like, a brand is a brand, yeah. I guess you could call what I have a brand, but it's not. It's just me. If you meet me now, sometimes I'm high in energy and sometimes I'm low and tired, but it's going to be me. I'm going to swear by accident constantly because even though I said I wasn't going to, I don't mean to. And I think it's important.
Your brand. It's your brand.
But is it? Or is it just me? Is a brand supposed to be just so true to your core values that that's what people connect with? But unfortunately, we try to manipulate it because we want people to connect. But if you manipulate it so much so it's not you anymore, then actually, like Lord Sugar, it's a massive disconnect. Like, my impressions and his perceptions of who he is as a person based on his brand was a massive letdown with how he acted online because it wasn't, in my eyes, who he was.
Well, I think, that's taken too far. But just to end on that note, because I think it's become very much about being yourself, not apologizing for yourself, allowing yourself to be true to yourself, to the things that you want to do, to take the risks, to go for stuff, to expand in that personality bubble or whatever it is. But there's a thing about having the confidence to do that. And then there's the other thing about having the confidence to put that forward into the world, because obviously then you've got eyes on you. You put yourself out there, you have a big personality, you do it, you're doing something and the people are looking, and then the talking starts and all that stuff.
If anyone ever gets really bored and you want to scroll back through 700 posts on Instagram, there's 2 posts that my Instagram starts with. The first is a note from my notes, screenshot of my notes. And when I was 23 years old, I decided I wasn't going to do the same as everyone else, full stop. And I wrote this huge, long manifesto, essentially, and I screenshot and I shared it social media because I said, this is the most visible way I can share who I'm going to be when I get older. Yeah. It's still there now. And then the second post following that, so you'll see who I am as a kid, because it's like, I refuse to grow up. I will tell silly jokes and rah. And then the next post is, first they will ignore you, then they will laugh at you, then they will fight you, and then you will win. And that is the process that every single person, if you want to achieve in any area, you will go through. If you point me to one successful person, I will show you a million critics of that person. Yeah. First they will ignore you, then they will laugh at you, and that most people drop off at the laughing bit because it's too much. When they start to fight you, that's when you really go, maybe I shouldn't do this. And then they just drag you back. Into their world. But then eventually, if you can push through that, you will win. And it's just that simple.
Yeah, they do try to drag you back in their world. Yeah.
Because why should you get to do something different? Why should you get to be successful in that space? Why are you that way and I'm not? I don't like that. And that's what all this, like, a lot of the lash out and trolling is all about. Is why do you get to do that and I don't? That's what it boils down to. But actually, any single successful person in the world, show me them and show me one without I'm talking about millions of critics. Any single one of them will have a million critics, because you cannot be visual, you cannot grow, you cannot be obvious in the world and have everybody like you. It just is not possible.
Yeah, you can't be visible and not be talked about. And if you're not talked about, you're not visible, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah, man.
Actually, not everyone wants to be visible, but then it's a space for those who want to be, isn't it?
Even in your industries. Even the ones that are faceless and you don't have a personal brand, in their industries, they'll experience those things.
Yeah. Yeah. Lewis, it's been educational. It's been very interesting speaking to you. It's been really interesting, and I love the whole perspective on the being yourself.
Who knows if I'm right? I'll find out in 10 years. I'm going to watch this, by the way. I save stuff like this to watch back in 5 and 10 because I want to know if what I said was right.
Yeah.
Also to see how far you've come.
Good. We'll do that later.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for coming on the podcast. Thank you.